Just on Australia, Keezy, I'm just mining for more stories here, but you're at Kent. You had the chance to play with both Andrew Simons and Steve Waugh. Was it at the same time? I mean, what does an Andrew Simons, Rob Key, and late years Steve Waugh dynamic look like?
Yeah, so Simo became one of my best mates back then. I used to room with him, and he would play. He turned up at Kent in this. You call them Cobras? What's the cowboy hat?
Yeah.
And he loved that. Is it J.M. Williams? The
RM,
big sort of gun, R.M. Williams or whatever. So I've had a room with him, and sort of we have a few drinks, and at 10 o'clock at night, as we go to sleep, or 11 o'clock, he puts on this John Williamson. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm 22, I'm into, like probably, I don't know, dance music, whatever you want to see, might have been the rave scene or whatever, and I've got this bloke who's singing about like Rip Wood Chips and, Billabongs and Waltzing Matilda and stuff. I'm like, mate, what is this? Right. He said, mate, this is proper music. I'm thinking, not sure about that. But anyway, Simo was so much fun because we were not the same age. He was a bit older than me. He was such a good cricketer as well. And we enjoyed things on and off the field. And then when Steve Waugh actually turned up, Steve Waugh was a bit my hero growing up because, I was probably 8 or 10 when I was watching him. And we'd gone, the committee, he was staying in the flat that Simo had been given. And we were, I used to stay down there because I lived an hour away from Canterbury where we played. And they sort of said, make sure it's in good order. So we're like, yeah, don't worry. So we gave it a clean, but that night we ended up going out and we went to sort of a student night and somehow a big party ended up back at that flat. So the place has absolutely been turned over. And Steve Waugh gets there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and one of my best mates, who he knows a little bit about cricket, he's like a club third teamer. Yeah. He comes out with he doesn't know that they're there or Steve Waugh's coming, but he's got a stinking hangover, and he walks out and he's just in his pants, and he sort of looks at me, and I'm sort of quite embarrassed with Steve Waugh, and he says, Keezy, do you know where my socks are? And then he sort of opens his eyes properly and realises the captain of Australia is standing right in front of him. And he was so starstruck by him. I remember his face, Ben he was called. He's just sort of gone, I said, Simo, sorry, he's gone, Tugger, Ben, Tugger. And he couldn't speak.
Steve Waugh wouldn't have said much either.
He wouldn't have said something outside the mouth. Yeah.
No, he thought it was quite funny. I'm not sure the 58 committee members that all of a sudden turned up to meet Steve Waugh found it quite as amusing.
Yeah. Okay, you obviously moved on very successfully to a broadcasting career with Sky, and in a recent piece for Sky, you were batting in the nets as Rahul Dravid because you two played together at Kent. So I'm just wondering if we can expect some more bowling masterclasses of you impersonating Nasser Hussain when he bowled in Durban when South Africa were 572 for 6.
Oh, I don't know about that. Do you know what? I've never seen Nasser bowl. And when I tell you, like when I played, Nasser was that's why my book is called Oi King. I hate the fact I've got a book out, but I got paid for it, so that's it.
Same.
So Freddie Flintoff, I grew up with, he was my best mate. And so this is how England sort of worked then. We're playing against India on my debut, and 2 days before, they're sort of walking around the huddle. This is what I mean, it's nothing special in how they think at times, because Fletcher, the coach, sort of goes, who does first slip? And Fred went, Keezy would do it. And I'm thinking, I don't do first slip. I'm terrible first slip. So anyway, Fletcher sort of says, go on, and you go in there. I thought, what is going on? Surely they have a first slip. This is the England cricket team. And I'm standing at first slip, and after about an hour of the first day, I think Tendulkar's batting or whoever, or Ganguly. So I'll just become a name dropper, actually, I realise. But anyway, I'm standing, and Nasser used to volley you left, right and centre, which I didn't know at this stage. I'm 23. And in the middle of an over, Freddie and I start telling Stewie about some of the stories we used to get up to when we were younger. So we're sort of laughing and relaxing. And I'm thinking, oh, this is good fun. And Nasser shouts out from mid-off in front of everyone, Oi, Key, you fat expletive. I didn't put you there to chat to your fat effing mate all day. concentrate yet. And so I'm like, oh my God. And Ganguly's sort of laughing at me, and Fred just turns around and says, don't drop one now, Bob. I thought, no.
Speaking of that,
but now he's my favourite person in the world. So I absolutely love him. He's such a good bloke.
Yeah.
Well, no doubt a lot of that would have been built in the Sky Com box, and it's probably a pretty unforgiving place. A lot of people who've captained England, risen to the top of the game, and I think you've described yourself as at one point being at the bottom of the pundit ladder. You're not there anymore. How do you get to the top of the pundit ladder? And do you think you have any advice for people in Australia who want to get to the top of the pundit ladder? Because it just seems as though you need to just talk about pizza toppings.
Benson and Hedges.
It's I don't know. I mean, it's lucky if you've been an absolute gun player for a start like Warney and these people, which I obviously was. I honestly don't know. I feel like a bit of a fraud, really. I'm just blagging. I see myself as one of the great blaggers. So when someone asks you a question, I can sort of look like I know what I'm talking about. And that's the key, really. I think it doesn't matter what you say, just try and say it with some conviction, and one person might believe you. Is generally my way of thinking about it. And try and imagine I always try and imagine I'm just with my mates in the pub, probably a bit like your podcast, where you're just trying to have a conversation and try and do it the same way.
It's pretty wise words. Finally, someone just wanted to ask, and this is a question. This is one of the deeper philosophical questions in cricket that we've often posed before, and you do get a lot. Speaking of blagging or also false answers, I think there's a lot of false answers here. But basically, one for you, Keezy. Would you rather make a duck and win, or hit a ton and lose?
Well, there's absolutely no question. I'd always take a ton and lose. I mean, I'd lose every game. Because what happens in the end of that is all my hundreds, I go into the end of the year and I say, thank you very much, I'll have a pay rise and you can get rid of everyone else. I just think anyone who says anything, anyone who says anything different is a liar. Because... And they might go, no, it's all about the team. And okay, you're going to get dropped next game because you've got 4 noughts in a row. You're going to take 100 and lose, or you're going to take another naught, get dropped, and find yourself, doing whatever job that isn't as good as being a professional cricketer in your life.
Oh, finally some honesty.
Yeah. I think that's over 100 episodes to get that.
Yeah.